Let's get acquainted.
Salwete diskupuli, mihi nomen est Magistra Johnson. Hello students, my name is Magistra Johnson, and I'm going to be your Latin teacher this year. I've been teaching Latin at Hempfield High School since 1992. In this video, I'd like to share with you some things about why I chose to study Latin and become a Latin teacher, and why I love the language so much. And I'd also like to talk to you about some of the things that I enjoy doing when I'm not in school. Places I like to spend my time, go visit, and things I've tried that are new. And even a few of my dreams for what I might like to do when I'm done with teaching. In my 9th grade English class, my English teacher required us to read Shakespeare's tragedy or his history of Julius Caesar. She read the entire play to us out loud. She did all kinds of voices and made it come to life. And it was the most fascinating thing in the world to me. She probably had a lot to do with why I wanted to go to college to become an English teacher. I've never thought about the fact that maybe she also sparked an interest in the ancient world for me. But that, I think, began all the way back in 6th grade when we learned about Mesopotamia and Egypt and the Greeks. I didn't get a chance to study Latin until I went to college. And the only reason that I actually decided to study Latin was because my professor told me that studying Latin would be really good with my English degree, and if I got a teaching certificate, that would be even better because it would help me get a job. And it did. But I soon began to realize that Latin was one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, that I ever studied in my entire educational career, because it connected me to history, to current events, to vocabulary. It helped me improve my writing, and it even helped me understand things I was reading. Even though I'm a Latin teacher, I still remain a student of the Latin language. And I continue to love absolutely everything about this language. I love the fact that it's so analytical and logical and rational. There are right and there are wrong answers. At the same time, there are lots of opportunities for discussion about ideas and philosophy. And when I study the language, I feel like I'm traveling back in time to the ancient world and learning about what those people felt and how they thought and how they lived their lives by reading their very own words. When I am not at school, I'd say that the place that I love being most is at my home. I call it my little house in the woods. It's not really in the woods, but it sits on the edge of the woods. I live in Eastern York County, near one of the county parks. In the springtime, there are lots of little wildflowers in my yard. In the fall, all of the oak and maple trees in our yard turn these brilliant colors of yellow and orange and red, and I feel like I'm living in some kind of fairy tale world. It is one of the most peaceful places that I can think of being, and that's one of the reasons why I love to be there so much. Another favorite place that I like to go is the hunting camp of my husband's family. It's in Elk County, Pennsylvania, which is north and slightly west of Penn State. The name of the camp is the Lazy Buck. Whether I'm at my own house or the camp in Elk County, one of my favorite pastimes in either place is to get my camera or my phone and take pictures. Looking through the lens of a camera somehow just takes me away from the world that I'm in. When I first started to take pictures, it was primarily of things like birds and flowers, butterflies, and scenery. I didn't do a lot of pictures with any other subjects. So recently, I've been branching out and trying to take photographs of things that don't appear in nature. Another favorite hobby, interest, or activity of mine is cooking. And so I've been trying to focus some of my photography skills on taking food pictures. This is a new recipe I tried this summer for stuffed jalapeno poppers. Another new thing that I've been trying is Chinese cooking. A couple of years ago for Christmas, my husband bought me a wok to use on our stove. I'm not very familiar with Chinese cooking and all the flavors and ingredients, but I do like trying the different recipes, and the results are usually pretty good. Maybe someday it would be fun have my own food blog and take my own pictures for on it, or maybe even write my own cookbook and photograph all the recipes myself. Having a job like teaching and hobbies that I'm interested in, like photography and cooking, are important. But I also think it's important that we have something in our lives that we feel very passionate about, that drives us to do something and is part of a bigger cause. One of the things that I am passionate about is buying locally and supporting my local farmers. And I'm also really passionate about not just buying locally, but eating things that are local and in season. So I've been busy every summer for the last 3 or 4 summers canning produce. This is 8 pints of fresh tomato juice that I made with summer ripened tomatoes. Somewhere in the middle of the winter when it's snowy and bleak, I can open up a jar of this and have a drink of it or use it in a recipe, and it will taste just like fresh summer tomatoes. I think that preserving the harvest is such a passion of mine because it is also not only good for the local farmers and supports them, but it's also very good for the environment. This corn only traveled a few miles from where it was grown to my home. That means that not a lot of fuel was used to simply transport this corn from the field to my table. And so that's how it becomes better for the environment. It's also good to keep my dollars local. Another reason that I enjoy preserving the harvest is because it is a way to help keep myself and my family healthy. By preserving the harvest, I can ensure that the foods that we eat are not filled with lots of preservatives and chemicals, and that helps to keep me and my family much healthier. Thanks for taking the time to listen to my little video and learn some things about me. I'm not just your Latin teacher. I have lots of interests outside of school that don't have anything to do with Latin. I'm excited to learn about you and what you like to do when you're not in school.